What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be looking at the top stocks and penny stocks that have been going up to the upside a lot. We're also going to be looking at exactly, is the stock market going to be crashing, or is it just going to be a pullback that's going to be coming up within the next few days or even weeks, guys? I'm going to go in detail. We're going to also look at exactly what is the economic report that is going to potentially affect the stock market for tomorrow, guys. So there's a lot of reports coming up for tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video. I'm going to be covering all of this important information, what time these reports are coming out in detail, guys. So make sure you stay tuned. Now let's get right into the video. Alright, guys, so before we get into the video, make sure you smash the like button. If you have any comments or any questions, make sure you drop it in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. So today was actually a very interesting day, guys. So the stock market was actually going up to the upside significantly. It gapped up to the upside. And right around in the afternoon, it starts to sell off drastically because, there's some news that kind of came out that affected the markets drastically, guys. So one of the news that came out was from California, orders bars, indoor dining, and most gyms, churches to shut down again, aimed the pandemic surge, So this is mainly going to be one of the cases, unfortunately, coming up within the next days or even weeks because the cases are just significantly spiking up and rising again a lot, not only in California and Texas and Florida and across the states. There's some states that are doing pretty good. Some of the areas in New York, there are cases that actually been spiking up. And as you can see over here from the chart today, we're looking at the S&P 500 ETF SPY. As you can see over here, we're looking at the daily chart, and these candlesticks just represent 1 day of price action, as you see over here. And the price actually, when you look at this specific candle, it opened right around over here at around 320, and it basically hit a high of $322.71. It went way over there. It was trading at that price point, and eventually it started to sell off to the downside, and it closed at $314.84. That's why you can see that it is red over here. So was still kind of in a range, we've just been bouncing up and down. The high of this range is basically going to be broken. It was about to get broken over here. It was at $323.36. It's kind of like the range, the top of the range, and the bottom over here is $296.71. So this is going to be the range that the S&P is basically bouncing. So just keep an eye on this specific information, and if the stock market just continues to stay within this range, or if we're just going to increase the volatility, and if more cases keeps rising up and more cases keep spiking and across the states, this potentially can just break down to the downside, unfortunately. So if more states starts to close, there's going to be potential market sell-off that can happen within the next few weeks. But there's a lot of companies that are going to be reporting this earnings this season. We got a lot of tech companies, as we covered yesterday in yesterday's videos. You got Netflix stock, that was actually just going up to the upside a lot. Today it was gapped up. It was just trending to the upside. You got the Nasdaq, it was just going up drastically, but however at the end it had a huge swing to the downside, and it starts to sell off significantly. And as you can see over here, the map, we got Microsoft down 3%, Google down -1.7%, Facebook down, Netflix -4%, Amazon, who's just leading the way. All of these big giant tech companies was actually pulling back, it pulled back today, even though they had a very fantastic, morning. Unfortunately, they weren't able to sustain their gains. And the only sector, that was super good and positive is the healthcare sector, guys. And we're going to be talking about the top stocks in the healthcare sector. And one of the stocks that I covered in the past, which is going to be vxrt, was also one of the participants. It had a great news. I'm going to be covering it in a little bit. But, you got Pfizer, which has also had a very fantastic news come out. We're going to be talking about it in a little bit. And you got UNH also just going up to the upside. And we have the financial sectors, that's going to be reporting, the banks, that's going to be reporting earnings tomorrow. So we talked about it on yesterday's video to keep an eye on these major banks like Citigroup is one of the most volatile banks. It just goes up and down due to earnings, and so you just need to keep an eye on it if you want to get it, but if you want to even place a trade on it, because there's a good volatility that comes with the stock. And we got Wells Fargo and also Delta. The airlines just keep getting crushed. If this pandemic spikes up and cases just keep rising, these stocks can definitely sell off to the downside. But that is exactly what kind of happened today. This is the stock market. So we'll see if these cases continue to rise and affect the stock market. But now, when we look at individual companies, individual stocks, guys, the vxrt, I've covered this stock before when it was around below $5. It was a penny stock, and we even covered it when it had a very good breakout right around to the $6 area. Eventually went up to 14 and covered it again when it had a very good, fantastic pullback. We can use the $6 area as an entry price point to get involved with it. And it had a bounce to $8. We also talked about it. That was a good area to do a good solid risk to reward. And eventually it spiked up to the upside. Now it's currently sitting at $12.12 at this price point, as you can see over here. This is mainly because this huge price point happened because of an analyst upgrade. Huge jump came after investment bank B. Riley FBR initiated coverage of the stock with a buy rating and a price target of 22. So it basically got an upgrade from an analyst from this bank, and this really helped the stock to significantly go to the upside. So they see a potential. They saw that this company's been selected by the U.S. government operations warp speed for funding and inclusion in preclinical trial studies. They're still in the process to get on the FDA, phase 1 trial studies. They're still currently in preclinical trials, so they're hoping that they advance its oral COVID-19 vaccine candidate to a phase 1 study in the second half of 2020. So this is a potential. So if they even get to that point, the stock can drastically go up. But at this moment, they're anticipating that the stock is a good candidate for the vaccine, and that's why they kind of upgraded the stock. So we covered also about the analyst reports in different sector, but these upgrades and downgrades affect the stock price. Now when we look at the top stocks that we talked about that are just been going up to the upside, is like NEO. Eventually had a pullback today. If you're somebody that's looking for an opportunity to get involved in it, you can, this is your dip, dip by an opportunity. If you're a long-term investor, if you are passionate about investing in electric vehicle companies, we're having a very nice dip. It was just going up to the upside multiple days, just going up, and now it had a decent pullback of 7.61%. So we'll see what's going to happen in the next few days. If we're going to have a continuing sell-off, or it's going to be a pullback and just continuation to go to the upside. But however, there's also going to be another Chinese EV manufacturer called Li Auto files for NASDAQ listing. So they are planning to be IPO and go public in the NASDAQ. So that is really great news if you are somebody that they're passionate about these investing and supporting these companies that are trying to help the environment and also make very solid and beautiful cars like this. Like the cars actually looks pretty good, and this company is actually been producing cars and actually delivered cars in China. So that is something that you want to look for, because the other companies that are going public by reverse merger and things like that, they still have to have a factory and have orders and have to do all of the basic foundational work to do their deliveries. But however, this company is actually delivering cars at this specific moment. For the first quarter, the company reported revenue of $120.28 million and a net loss of $10.89 million. So as you can see over here, in November 2019, it has delivered over 10,400 Li ones as of June 30. So this company is actually doing deliveries as you can see from this article, guys. So keep an eye on this company when it's going to be IPO'd, and we'll see exactly. I'm going to be covering it in the future, but at this moment we just need to be aware that there's a Chinese company that is going to be IPO'd pretty soon, guys. So another company that's been going up to the upside, the other company that we're going to be talking about is going to be Pfizer. Pfizer is also one of those companies that are working with with the other companies, partnering with other companies to provide the pandemic vaccine as soon as possible. And one of the important news that affected the price is that Pfizer and BioNTech stock surge after COVID-19 vaccine candidates get fast-track designations. So PFE and BNTX, this is also one of the companies, this German company, jumped 5.3% in pre-market trading Monday after the companies said 2 of their vaccine candidates to protect against the virus that caused COVID-19 received fast-track designation status from the Food and Drug Administration. So that's fantastic news to hear if you are a shareholder of this company. So they're getting fast-tracked by the FDA, so they don't have to get into a lot of process and things like that when they're actually trying to progress with this vaccine. So that is really great news to see. So it does not mean that, other companies that are working on the vaccine is going to be affected by this news too, but also they're just competing, to produce other vaccines too. But this is just a process that you want to pay attention to, because if one of these companies find the solutions, find the vaccines, the other ones can potentially sell off to the downside, because their work or their projects is not going to be that much needed right now since the vaccine is kind of found. So just keep an eye on it for a good short opportunity in the future when one of these companies becomes successful and provide a vaccine too. So now let's move on to a penny stock that we're going to be talking about. This is going to be ticker symbol WIMI. Now this was trading below $5 2 days ago, and now it's trading at $24.74. So this is a super dangerous stock to look at, as you can see over here, because it really doesn't have information about insider ownership, insider transactions. It's a Chinese company. The share of the float is 4.92 million, so it's very, very low float, and the price can drastically change. It can be easily manipulated by people, retail investors, and people can really manipulate it if they just buy a few shares of it and increase the demand. And some of the news that kind of drove this market to the upside, was just very, very sketchy. One of the news that kind of came out was that the CEO of Alibaba, the major guy, used one of their technologies, to kind of present in one of their presentations that he was doing by using this hologram. So that was just basically the news that kind of broke out, and this stock just went up crazy to $15 within 1 day. It gapped up, and now they're talking about how they're the cloud network, how their storage services, and how they're getting revenues and things like that. And that's one of the reports that kind of came out too. But it's really sketchy and it's super low float, so this can be easily be manipulated by retail investors and people that want to kind of just pump the stock up by holding the demand and by holding a lot of shares and not having it publicly available and just stocking up the price. And these could easily be a chat room pump and dump too. So be super careful for this specific company, guys, because the price can just shoot up to the upside quick, and it can come down quicker than it went up fast. So just be super careful with it. But for tomorrow, we talked about the earnings reports. Got Delta City Group that's going to be reporting earnings for tomorrow, and important economic reports that we're going to be looking out for. It's going to be for July 14th at 6 a.m. We got the NFIB Small Business Index going to be for June. So the previous month's going to be 94.4. We got 8:30 a.m. We got the Consumer Price Index. It's also going to be for the period of June, and the previous one was minus 0.1%, and the medium forecast is 0.5%. Also at 8:30 a.m. we got the Core CPI. It's going to be for the period of June, and the previous one was minus 0.1%. and the median forecast is 0.2%. At 2 p.m. we got the Fed Governor Lael Brainerd speaks, and at 2:30 p.m. we got St. Louis Fed President James speaks at that price point, at that specific time, guys. So keep an eye on for these specific times, and these are in all Eastern Standard Time, so watch out for these. The stock market can react, and also be super careful because the stock market can potentially, have a volatile day tomorrow, since based off of the price action that we just saw today. So anyway, guys, it's going to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. If you have any questions, make sure you drop in the comment section below. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. But I'll catch you guys on another video for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.